Happy Thursday, guys, and we are back with another Koi to Producer episode. This being episode 9. We're already on episode 9. I think we will be parting ways for a bit after episode 12, which is probably going to give us a horrific cliffhanger if I think I know where it's going. It's been a really weird episode, guys. I've got a lot to say. Initially, I thought I would actually get through this quite quickly, but I've got more notes than I thought. My handwriting is getting smaller. It's horrible. So let's go with today's episode called Monochrome. We open with MC, and we can see she's banging on Lucian's door, but there is no answer. Since the events of last week, turns out to be yesterday in her world. She can't reach Gavin. Kiro has announced his retirement, she can't reach him, and nobody knows where Victor has gone. The Victor thing's really surprising. We will get to that in a bit. That's shocked me because that didn't happen in the game. Our open is in the office where we hear a lot of reports are starting to come in of really strange events. Since yesterday, all these events are pouring in. They're getting lots of cases coming through to the Miracle Finder emails. I feel like it's been ages since we've seen Minor. I was so happy just to see him, even if it was just to quickly poke his head round. Minor tells us there have been migrating birds seen in the area which shouldn't be there. He also says that there's a lot of hotspots in the city where nobody can get reception, there's no power, there's Wi-Fi, which is really important. MC decides to go to Loveland University. She announces that she's going to go and try and find Lucian. But as MC is running to find Lucian, we see glass smashing in one of the nearby buildings as a guy goes crazy as he's clearly struggling with his evolver powers, which have gone mental. And as the glass in this building crack, get a really nice cage motif going on. This anime is very heavy with its symbolism. There is another motif of a cage when the guy is breaking the windows. The cage is about to break in this episode. It's very nice to see another reflection on the fact that right now we are trapped in a cage. As the panels are breaking off this building, MC is sadly in the damage path and she goes to brace herself for impact. Lo and behold, Professor Lucian, saving us the journey of going to Loveland University, appears to protect her. Lucian is here. I'm gonna hopefully get through this quite quickly so I can talk about Lucian right at the end. I've got some things to say about Lucian. We're in the park when Lucian is patching up MC. I didn't really see her take a hit, so I don't know why he's patching up her knee. This episode starts with a lie and it kind of ends on the truth finally. Lucian says that I was on your way to your office and I was busy with research. You liar. You are such a liar, Lucian. Liar. He asks her, did something happen? And MC says it might all be my fault. But Lucian says, I think that evolution is necessary. Lucian might be lying, but hopefully you're watching me after seeing the episode. Don't watch me before, because I'm going to be spoiling a bit for the episode if you haven't seen the episode. Lucian did actually say, to your faces, if you hopefully did catch it, I think evolution is necessary. To build a better future, we need to always make sure we're moving forward. There is a lot of moments in this episode where Lucian comes out and says it. He literally says what he announces to MC later on during this episode. It's very interesting to see if you guys picked up on these announcements. Hopefully you did. What an episode. So I'm still fizzing after what happened in the last scenes. Lucian tells her that she has had some important encounters. So he kind of tried. This is him trying to cheer her up in his evil ways. Times are tough and we're going through a lot. You've had some important encounters that you need to cherish. And that's when we get these little reflections of MC reflecting upon the meeting these evolvers. Get it again. Lucian says moving forward is great. But MC is obviously feeling bad because she says that people around me are getting hurt. Lucian then says it's not really your fault. It's the people who are using you. You've done nothing wrong. I don't know how I feel now. I think all of this stuff now feels really double-edged after what just happened. MC says I feel better now knowing that you're safe. I'm going to go back to the office because people are worried about me. And then Lucian calls out the lie, which is really pot kettle black there. After all, Lucian is the one who's lying the most out of everybody right now. He calls out MC for lying. He says, do you really think you can deceive me with a transparent lie? Lucian is like, I'm worried about you. Who do you think is sat in front of you? You know, I'm a specialist. I can help you investigate the incidents. MC's like, will you help me? I've put right here, because I called it out really early. Lucian is manipulating her to say this. So he initially wanted her to ask him for help. That was his plan, and that's what he got. He does it very cleverly by going, I'm your friend, it's okay, you should ask me for help. As subtle as some of the little bits are, it's done cleverly to swing the conversation. There's also a really nice symbolism visual going on. If you look behind MC's head in this scene, you will see a crossroad. There are 4 paths that can be taken. This is important. Crossroads, they are a sign that you need to make a decision. They often come up when you've got a very hard choice in front of you and you've got all your options laid bare. This is very important because by the end of this episode, we are physically at the crossroads. So right now, the crossroads is metaphorized. That's not a word, is it, guys? That's not a word. But it is being shown via the use of symbology that there is a crossroads. We're here. MC has to make a choice. It's right behind us. We then cut to the 2 researching the incidences. We end up deciding that there are 3 hotspots, and Lucien has decided he's put 2 and 2 together. Well, obviously he's got some insight into the whole thing. Electromagnetic waves are causing things to go haywire. He says this would explain the blackouts in certain areas of the phone lines, and it also would explain the birds, which is why I mentioned Minor earlier, because the birds are explained here. All of these hotspots have been like a triangle as well, and this is also, they've all got a visual map where the data outages are. Guys, I think I'm living in one of these data outages places. The internet around my town is awful. It really is awful. Near us is a transmitter tower. That's the word. That's what I wanted. So I live under a transmitter. So right now I really feel like I'm living in Loveland and I'm in that black spot, guys. I have no internet. It's horrible. To be fair, I didn't think I would be releasing a video today just because my computer is dying in a sense. The hard drives are fine, the software's fine, the computer screen is not fine. I'm working here quite nervously looking at my screen going, are you okay? MC manages to knock Lucien. I think she just kind of jolts him as she gets really excited. And his pen falls down. She catches it and then he's like, I want you to keep my pen. I've been using it as a good luck charm. The pen's kind of name is iridescent, and iridescence obviously is a rainbow. To me, you're like a rainbow. There we go again, guys. I know you can become the glittering bridge to the future. And I put right here, this is a subtle hint right here to Queen and Evolution. If you were surprised by Lucien's outbreak and announcement at the end of this episode, you just weren't picking up on these subtle hints. Some of them are subtle, some of them are quite in your face. There are too many hints in this episode for me to say I was shocked by what happened. Also, if you are playing the game, you can collect Lucien's pen in the game. Like the bracelet, it is an in-game collectible. Now that I know there's only 12 episodes coming out initially, I will be doing a video after the 12, so I'll give you the episode 13 as my own episode. Just the differences, I must skip content because there's a very important thing with Lucien that they've just cut completely, and it changes his character as well. So we go back to the hotspots and we're in this building here, and we get a premonition from MC, and she foresees this gang appearing out of nowhere, sending a wave and attacking them. So before she even thinks, she pushes Lucien without even kind of mentioning anything to him. It kind of looks like she's coming on to him. And the gang arrive and they find nothing can leave. And Lucien goes, you surprised me back then. And MC's like, I saw a vision of them coming here. I panicked and I didn't know what to do. And I just kind of threw myself at you. There are some Lucien fangirls out there who would probably be really jealous and probably would say the same thing. I just threw myself at Lucien. I personally wouldn't. I'd be throwing myself at Victor, but not Lucien. Lucien says you were very cute back then, but promise me don't do that again. Always put yourself first. And MC is like, okay, but I want to keep you safe as well. Lucien seems really shocked by this. I know Lucien's face at times seems really poker face, but there's some times where we seem to get a reaction out of Lucien, which is important to keep noting these little tiny reactions. Just remember what I said a few episodes back about the glass mask slipping. You can wear a mask all you want, but at some point it's gonna slip. You can't keep a mask on forever. Although during COVID, guys, keep your mask on, please. Causes Lucien to get that pain again. The anime hasn't explained it yet. MC sees above his head, she sees the device. We then get them taking apart this device in the park where we find out it's a receiver. The job of this receiver is to scatter the wave around. It's not the main thing itself. There has to be something in the middle, right in the center, which is tall enough to be communicating with these transmitters. Also, side note, the angle we get with the characters looking down at us, we get MC in one corner, Lucien in the other. It's a cute angle. I like it. That's a nice little, you get a thumbs up from me there. That's cute. So we find out that Loveland Tower is right slap bang in the middle of everything. Isn't it all 3 of them? It's high enough to transmit to all of them. It's also the centre of Loveland. And it is the source of the wave. So MC starts to walk off and Lucien is like, well, where are you going? You can't just go recklessly marching in. MC's like, well, we have to stop them. They're taking away a future where children can fly their kites. And we find out that Lucien has never flown a kite, which doesn't surprise me, to be fair. And MC says, when this is all over, we can fly kites together, and we get a pinky promise. Now, this pinky promise bugs me. really bugs me. If you are not familiar with pinky promises, I think most of us are. The pinky promise is something you do when you swear, you make a promise. And if you break the promise, you have to swallow 1,000 needles. So goes the rhyme. This I'm a little angry at because pinky swearing was Victor's thing in the game. So if you have Victor set as the guy you interact with on your interactions, recent addition that you can meet with the boys, you can switch between them, but I've never changed it from Victor because I don't see the point. Victor's thing is pinky swearing, and he even says, I won't forget what I pinky swore to you. Victor won't break a promise. That's why I love him. Unlike somebody. Right. This just really annoyed me a little bit because he makes the promise, and obviously what happens in the anime kind of slaps us a little bit harder because of this. This moment, this really nice moment, is broken by the kite flying away, which is ironic. And Lucien then spies the guys who I've called the Squirtle Squad because they're all wearing these really cool glasses. So the Squirtle Squad are spying on them from the bushes, and he says, we have to run. I just want to quickly mention the light when the two are running away is amazing. The lighting in this episode is really pretty. We get quite a few nice moments which are really prettily lit. The men are attacking as they are running. MC then tells him to run away. Lucien holds a hand and shields her. Ironically, I wondered if this maybe annoyed him because obviously he said, promise me that next time you're going to put yourself first. She clearly was putting him first again, and she was trying to think of him over her. This then gets into a little bit of a montage. We see them running, just to get some time passing. I just gotta say, this park is huge. I know we saw it last episode where Gavin was in the park. This park is massive. And I had this with the God of High School parks. Park in this and the park in that are huge. I mean, there are some big parks in London, but the guy, MC and Lucien are hidden behind a bush. The leader of Squirtle Squad says that they took a receiver and we can't forgive them for this. MC, you haven't learned, just is wasted on him. She says it's only a matter of time before they're going to find us. She's really worried that Lucien's in danger because of her. So she stands up and apologizes to Lucien and says, I need you to go and stop the wave. And then she runs off, drawing attention away from Lucien to herself. You are such an idiot. You really are an idiot because Lucien has told you need to put yourself first. You are clearly not putting yourself first right now. It just ends up stupidly because she ends up at a dead end. She literally gets on top of this wall and she jumps off, and I've even put, there's no Gavin. Gavin doesn't catch her. She's in the wind and she hits the floor quite hard, and then she goes and runs off. And we now cut to the location for this final scene, which I've got so much to say. And yes, I am running through this quite quickly because essentially this is where it all happens. I've got a lot to say about this final scene, so I'm trying to cut some time and get to where I want to be. We end up at nighttime with MC getting cornered, and the guys have captured her and they have got her in a spot. In the background is a merry-go-round. We'll go through some symbology of the merry-go-round in a moment because I think it fits in a little better for what happens next. And the bad guy, the leader of the Squirtle Squad, goes, the great and the almighty queen. We do not wish to harm you, but if you interfere with Hades' plans, that's a different story. We knew this was Black Swan. Black Swan is clearly after her. She knew that already. I missed a bit, guys. I am so sorry. Just before this, so before she was captured, we got this really quite nice scene of Lucien. And he says, you really were trying to protect me. And we just get some really nice lighting, and it's the sunset going down on Lucien, and we go into pain again, which I think is probably a very nice subtle giveaway to a few things. One, we've got the sun going down on Lucien, because after this, we're pretty much not going to see Lucien again. He turns into Eris from now on. At the same time, Lucien being in pain, and then him also going, you really are a fool, is, let's just say, a bit split personality. Just gonna throw that out there. It's not quite what I'm saying it at face value, but it is something to think about with Eris and Lucien being the same person. The sun is going down on Lucien. Right, back with the bad guy, who is essentially doing the bad guy Squirtle Squad stuff. He says that what we're doing is for the sake of the new world that awaits these evolvers. And then Lucien uses the guy's attack from before to free MC. As he walks past MC, we see the bad guy develop using these ice powers, which Lucien then replicates and fires right back at him. And he says, it's pointless. It's not as though you don't know who I am. And this, right in front of MC, admitting straight away, you know who I am. I'm with you guys. He's straight up going, I'm with Black Swan. He's just said it right there and then. The bad guy goes, no matter who it is, you know, if you're interfering with Hades' plan, you must be stopped, even if it's you, Eris. It seems to hit MC a little bit late. I picked up on a lot of warning flags. MC just being plot armor didn't pick up on them too quickly. MC has finally realised though. He says, I will restrain the queen and you guys can withdraw because we can't afford to lose her yet. And the bad guys leave. Not all the bad guys. One bad guy still remains. It's the whole kind of, if you kill all the monsters, there's always one monster left. That's yourself, Lucian. You are the monster. And then we get this heartbreaking moment. It's horrible. This scene, it was painful, guys. Watching this scene was actually pretty painful. MC says, what's going on? Who is Ares? Are you part of Black Swan? Why even bother with this next bit? Why? Lucian, no, I'm not. If I said that, would you really believe me? I hate it. I hate you. I've never liked Lucian, but the way it's done in the anime is horrid. Awful. Just, right. MC's like, was it all lies? Because she gets like this little flashback of all the happy moments that she's had with Lucian. All I'm going to say here is the setup to this betrayal is a billion times worse than the anime. The anime has made this something really painful. Like, in the game, yes, he is with Black Swan kind of in the game, but the way it's revealed to her isn't nowhere near as painful as this. It is Lucian in the game, I can forgive, I understand him. Lucian in the anime at the moment, I just want to smack full on. The way it's done, in case there was some doubts in your heads about Lucian, he's not being made out to be very nice right now. And I can promise you, if you are playing the game and you do like Lucian, there's a lot in the game that isn't being shown at all in the anime. It's not been touched on. I don't want to mention it in this video. I'll do it on episode 13. My episode. Episode 13 will be my episode. I'm going to go in and do some stuff that was, my overall thoughts on the first 12 episodes, because it seems to be a cut-off point. And I'm going to mention something for Lucian. There's some really important stuff they are missing. Without having these things, Lucian's character right now is being played like a complete anti-hero, kind of baddie. The way it's done is just heartbreaking. I really felt for MC. When MC is crying, I feel for her, man. I really feel for her. Lucian says, I told you humanity must evolve. And then he repeats the Red Queen hypothesis again. Evolution is the only way to create a better future. And he kind of threatens her. I just, by this point, I was so angry. He steps forward and then in tears, she literally takes the pen that he had given her and holds it up to her throat, and she's like, stay back, you gotta let me go. I admire her for doing that. I do admire her for actually holding her ground. I was expecting her to break down in front of Lucian. Girl, as much as you're crying, he does not deserve your tears right now. He really doesn't. Lucian says, do you really think you have the room to negotiate right now? And she says, you haven't done anything to repay me for earlier. When she pushed him aside to the wall, and he says that I'll repay you somehow, and she initially says you don't have to. Right now, she's like, well, you said you were gonna repay me. So this is it. You're going to let me go? And that kind of does sway him. He says, very well, I'm going to let you go. And she is starting to bleed. However, there is no next time. Make sure that I never catch up to you again. Oh, it's so cold. How cold can you be, Ares? I'm so angry. I'm so angry. I'm angry for MC right now as well. MC says, Ares, I don't believe you because you're not Lucian. Lucian would never do anything to hurt me. And then she leaves. I'm here for you guys. Can I be your emotional support? Can we all have a hug right now for just a hug? As MC has gone, we see Lucian, that his vision is still black and white, but this kind of colour fades. And he says that jar that held the butterfly has broken. He's holding his eye and we can see blood trickling down. We get this really important bit of symbology coming up, which is the butterfly in the jar. The jar is breaking and the glass is broken. Glass shattering usually is representative of reality shattering, trust being shattered. It's being used here because his plan's broken. We find out later from Hades that he failed. Reality has now shattered. The truth is out there. She's escaped. She's flown away from Lucian. She's gone. Obviously, his story, the whole point is that he was the painter. He was keeping her in a jar because he wanted to keep her safe, and because he was scared that she was going to run away. Sadly, things haven't gone his way, and now she has run away. She has left him. She's flown away, and the glass has shattered. Next time I see you, it will be Ares, which is so sad. And his eye is gone. I don't physically remember it happening in the game at all. Lucian has both eyes in the game. I'm pretty sure he has both eyes in the game. So I'm going to be interested to see what they've done with this. We see MC crying as she runs towards the red tower, and we get the red colour. And if you remember how much I'm harking on about red in this anime is like kind of flashing red left, right and centre. Left is a sign of danger. The tower is red because it's danger. She's going towards danger. She's going towards something dangerous. Then we snap to another guy who likes to use red, which didn't fit, and I'm still going to say it doesn't fit. Hades is informed by the Squirtle squad leader that Ares' plan has failed. And we see that red rose again. The red rose it didn't make sense until what he does in a moment. Then it makes sense. He says he took such pains in trying to raise the queen in a tepid greenhouse. And this is kind of similar to the idea of the guy, the painter, having the butterfly inside jar. We see Hades crushing the rose, which I think now, the rose was supposed to be Lucian, who loved MC, had feelings, and he cared for her. And when we crush the rose, it's these feelings. That's it. The love is broken. It's been damaged. Also, the flower could be MC as well, that he's crushing MC, that Lucian's words have crushed and hurt MC, which has definitely happened. Red roses are a sign of true love. They always are used with true love. They're just what they are. If you ever just want to say, I love you, a red rose will just do. He says, with the true queen's guidance, the fate of the world has already been decided. No one can change the ending. Apart from the players. If you're playing the game, you can change the ending, guys. Promise you. Play the game. We end now, and we get... I'm not going to complain, it's my boy, and I've just missed my boy so much, so... Seeing Victor after having to deal with all that horrible Lucian stuff. Blech. So we find out, the night we saw Victor's powers going crazy, and they were warping like crazy, he has been sent through time and space. Victor's in 2030. He's 10 years in the future, guys. Victor sees Victor from the future. We just see the ad for the Loveland Expo, which is 2030. And the next episode looks like I'm going to need tissues as well. So the next episode is with Kiro. And it's, oh, I'm so sad. Dawn of the Farewell. That title just says all I need to know. I think I'm going to need tissues. I think I'm going to be crying my eyes out because I now think I know what part of the plot they're dragging into this. The reason why I think I know where we're going to end up at episode 12 now, if you are playing the game, I'm going to do this in a way that I don't spoil it. If you are currently a game player and you're listening to me, if you have played the most recent chapters, I think the cut is going to be slap bang at the start of that. It's going to be quite a painful cliffhanger, I think. So initially I also said I was going to quickly mention the merry-go-round. Merry-go-rounds are usually a sign of childhood, youth. They're quite happy little things. They are often in children's programs like the magical roundabout. And obviously roundabouts themselves, they take you places. They are there to guide you to a place. The roundabout we see has stopped. Obviously, we're not going nowhere. There's no guidance. We're now officially not going anywhere. I also think it's symbolising the end of these childish dreams, these kind of end of these dreams that they bear in mind. They made the promise to fly kites, which is quite childish in a sense. Kites are also a symbol of being free and carefree, which again, your childhood often carefree. With the symbolism here, I believe it's representing that MC's childish fantasies, thinking that Lucian is on her side, he's not, kind of thing. I think it represents the end of that. I think it represents almost, again, we've had quite a few metaphors for death of childhood, death of innocence. I said last week, the dying snowdrops was a death of innocence. Definitely had a death of innocence this time. MC is now a different person again after this episode. I just want to give her a big hug. I just want to slap Lucian in the face. I really do. So that was the episode. It was a roller coaster of emotions. I felt awful for MC by the end of it. It was really painfully done. The anime has done it in such a painful way. I'm thankful I played the game first, because I think if I'd have seen that as an anime only, by this point I would be on the hate train for that. I feel bad. This episode's made me feel pretty crummy. I feel bad for MC. Also anxious for next week because I don't think it's going to be another good one. I'm 80% I know what the next two episodes are going to be. I think if I had to sketch out a rough plan of where we're going, I think I could tell you the skeletal structure of what's going to happen in the next 2 episodes. So I had to do some quick little research because I needed to check something. I believe this anime is going to end off at the recent Darkest Hour arc. The game is currently on chapter 23. I believe the anime is going to end. I think it's going to end on chapter 18. Everyone can do some bit of maths here. We're going to be 5 chapters behind the game. So we're going to get this clarified right here, right now. There, at the moment, has been no announcement for season 2. And I want to get that here. So I don't know where I read 36 episodes. I am so sorry. I read it somewhere. I clearly have read wrong information. We will be departing after episode 12. So this will come to an end like God of High School. We're going to be saying goodbye roughly the same time, so I won't have any overhangs for next season. I will be doing episode 13, which will be cut content. There has been a lot of cut content. There's been fun cuts as well. There's been a lot with Kiro, which we haven't seen. There is something very big and important with Lucian we just haven't seen. So I think what I will do, because I think God of High School's got 13 episodes, I'm going to do a 13th talk to you guys. I'm going to have to really plan this out. I'm going to do a little review, the 12 episodes that we've had, put out my final thoughts, and probably promote the game quite a bit. I am also going to tell you the skipped content. I don't know if you guys are going to be interested in skipped content, but I think there is some skipped content which would make you feel differently about certain characters, maybe even make you love characters more. Kiro is a very popular character who doesn't really seem to be getting any screen time, and I think it's because it just doesn't fit into where the anime is trying to take us. I am 100% we're going to end up at chapter 18. If you think about it, that does give you guys time to play the game, and if season 2 does get announced, you guys can be in, you can sit with me and we can all be sat together going, we've all played the game, we know where this is going. We haven't fully finished the game. Like, we haven't got to, we are in the end game, but we're not quite end. So I believe that if season 2 does get announced, there is definitely something for them to get them to do for season 2. I think it's going to end on a cliffhanger, which is going to suck if we actually don't get an announcement for season 2. All I'm going to say, guys, if we do not get a season 2, play the game. And I'm going to say it right here, right now. The game is really good. The game is a million times better than the anime. I'm quite happy with the anime we've had so far. I'm unhappy with quite a few bits, but at the same time, it's not bad for a mobile game kind of being developed into an anime. The game works amazingly as a game. It is very difficult, and I appreciate how difficult it is to get a mobile game to turn it into an actual anime to work. Could you guys imagine turning Mystic Messenger, a very popular mobile game like Queen's Choice, because Queen's Choice is popular as a mobile game, could you imagine turning that into an anime? It's not going to please everybody. It's not going to be handled correctly. It won't be the same. And plus, we have to pick a route. We'd probably have to pick 707's route. And the only reason I'm drawing the two between these two is they are very similar in a sense with the characters and the choices and the quite dark plot. I did say hold on to your hats because the plot is heavy. This is a very heavy game. So when people were just passing it off as a simple boy meets girl, it's really not. So I think that's all I'm going to say for it now before I start working myself up into a frenzy. It's been an interesting episode. I think I know where we're going now. Quite unhappy with how much of a jump we've done. Bear in mind, we've had 9 episodes. We're going to probably get up to chapter 18. That is chapter 18 where each chapter in the game is broken down into 12 battle points where you have to battle your way through it. And then you get the calls and you get the plot given to you. That's 12 mini chapters inside a chapter. There's a lot which I think they could have handled differently. I'm going to leave it at that because I'll just work myself up. So I will see you guys if you are following me for God of High School on Monday. We're getting to a close on that as well. And I think I've got to a point as well with that. I'm kind of We will see each other again for the sad episode awaiting us with Kiro on... So I'll see you again on Thursday for this. If you guys are not subbed, please sub. If you do enjoy some of the symbology breakdowns, sub, please. Because I'm going to be announcing my plans for next season. The next season anime is coming out very soon. we're getting to the end of this season now. It seems I'm going to have my board wiped. I am planning to do 3 video releases, but I will also tell you what I'm watching as well. So if you are interested to see if my plans cross with your plans, tune into that just so you can see. We'll see where we go. Just tune in for that. Make sure that you guys are liking. It really helps. I know that you guys are definitely listening. Compared to the God of High School videos, you guys are reacting in a positive manner. I like you guys. You guys are awesome. So thank you so much. It really means a lot. We hit 101 subs, guys. I am very happy to hit the Dalmatian marker. It just makes me happy to know that we are at 101. So there's hopefully 101 of you guys who are tuning in, and we can cry together about this anime and how Lucian has made us feel together. Have a big hug from me. I will see you again next week, guys. Bye-bye.